Hi, today we are going to talk about the Gemini, especially when they are growing up. We feel that this is one of the important pillars of understanding any sun sign. Because if you understand the growing minds at the early age, it is much easier to deal with them, because then you'll be understanding why they do what they do. This is quite important for us as parents, teachers, guardians, and those who are entrusted with taking care of these little souls. Because if we do not understand, at times we may think there is something wrong with the child. We may even think the child has got some kind of disease. I've also heard stories of a child being termed as suffering from hyper deficit disorder, HDAD, this kind of disease, whereas the child was not understood correctly. The child was not, the parents who were the guardians for the child didn't go further in understanding how this little soul thinks. Perhaps this is an opportunity for us to study and get to know them, especially at their early age. There is an old saying that says, to be forearmed is to be forewarned. Meaning, if I know better as a parent, if I know better as a teacher or a guardian, I am more equipped in dealing with different kinds of minds, different kind of children, different kinds of teenagers. But if I don't know better, that also means I'm not equipped better. Along the way, I may be overwhelmed and think of throwing the towel and think this is not worth it. Parenting is difficult, teaching is difficult. Raising up this kind of a child is bad, simply because a parent or somebody didn't take an opportunity to go even deeper in understanding this person, how they behave, how they act from an earlier age. Once you get that from the earlier age, it's much better to deal with them as they grow up. One notable thing about a Gemini child is that he or she will start talking, probably crawling and walking at a very early age as compared to other sun signs. We could safely say that the mutable sun sign, they are quite quicker in most of the things, but in particular, Gemini is the quickest of them all. Firstly, because it is an air sign, wind is very quick, as well as a mutable sign, because it mutates at a very high speed. The parent of such a child should make sure that their youngster has plenty with which to keep happily occupied with. Meaning that for a child who is a Gemini, it's very important to create or set up some activities for this child to engage in. Because if the activities are lacking, well, the child may be found to be doing something else. which may be good or which may not be so good, simply because the activities are not enough for him or for her. A Gemini is a sign that is in constant need of mind stimulus. Because boredom can quickly set in for such a child, meaning that they can easily be bored if they are not doing enough, if what they are doing, they are not enjoying it. One philosopher said, in order to understand a child, understand how they play. Once you crack it or understand the way they play, you can also understand how they learn. And how they learn is how they play. How they play is also a better way of understanding how they will learn. The child should be encouraged to finish all that he has started to do. Simply because a Gemini is prone to shift and change what he or she is doing. They are quickly bored if that thing that they are doing is not stimulating them good enough. They may not finish what they've started. This is a sun sign that doesn't really have a great stamina to hang on to things. As we have previously seen, that belongs to a Taurus, the bull, which is steady, slowly, when undertaking certain project. A Gemini is very quick in doing things. That also means as quick as they are, or as quick as they could be, they also lack the stamina to stay on the project. So they need to be encouraged on that department, on that regard. These are the people who ask why. Convince me why, then perhaps I can do it. So if the parent or teacher does not have a strong why you are doing what you should be doing, well, the Gemini may not find the courage to carry on doing what it said and what is meant to be done. A Gemini child does very, very well in school. But remember, teacher, remember, parent, they can also bluff their way through, especially through tests, exams. They are like that. This is the very wise tribe to start off with. They are very wise, and a proactive teacher, parent, will notice these tendencies quite earlier or quicker, or be able to stay several steps ahead of the child. Remember that the child sometimes they've got a way of pushing their boundaries. They could push their boundaries too fast at times, just to test the guardian, the parent, the teacher, how far one can take. So it's very important, teacher, parent, to be a bit clever when dealing with the Gemini. If you don't tighten the discipline pillar or the principle of discipline as a parent or instructor, it's quite easy for you to be taken for a ride by these natives. They can see or spot the loophole quite easily if you are not careful, or if you think they are just children. They are children, but they are clever children. At examination times, especially when they are teenagers, the Gemini will probably write reams and reams of opinions backed by too few essential facts. They usually find facts boring because facts requires one to elaborate. They requires one to go deeper and explain through. Whereas the way and the behavior of a Gemini is that give me almost everything, but a little bit of it all. It goes without saying that the Geminis are lively parents, filling their children out of school hours with activities because they know, as a Gemini parent, they know the importance of giving their children some activities to do, some activities to tackle even after school. They must be careful though, since their children may not be as versatile or have such a quick mind as themselves. Sometimes as parents we think that our children are like us. We think that they are like us. It's highly possible for a child to be totally different from you as a parent or as a teacher, to do things totally way different than what you could expect or what you think. Sometimes the child can also be quite smarter than you are as a parent. Yes, with experience, you'll find that the child always will found lacking experience there and there. That is why you as a parent, you ought to provide leadership, guidance. You need to guard, you also need to guide. Because if you don't, the consequences of such are dire at a later stage. The parent of a Gemini also need to consider the basic needs and true qualities of their children, which may not coincide with them. I've seen parents trying to relive their lives through a child. For example, if a parent was a doctor, or she wanted to be a doctor, wanted to be involved in the medical field, this parent couldn't do it, so he or she may try to relive that dream or that profession through the child. That is dangerous because it will breed the unfulfilled youngster, the unfulfilled young man or woman at a later stage. There is a very powerful and critical streak in every Gemini, which may or can be more damning than they could realize. And this may badly deflate and upset their children. This is very important for a parent to consider. Study your children. Study your child. If you do not, try or seek professional help to those who understand the behavioral pattern of your child, because it's very easy to upset these little souls if you do not know better. It should be softened with humor. Whatever discipline or approach that a parent or a teacher choose to adopt, it should be softened with humor and tempered with praise as well as compliments there and there. And that makes a Gemini sees that she or he is important and special just because you as a parent or teacher chose a better way of dealing with these little souls. This is what we had for you today. Look out for the next episode of a Gemini and the principle of the third house. As a third sign, this is very important for us to understand what is the basic root of a Gemini. Remember, Africa, you are beautiful, you are intelligent, and you are also powerful. Let nobody take away that from you.